basically like anything towards or around building a union, people have a right to do as long as they are doing it in groups. As you saw in the video, I was there with a lot of coworkers. So no, it is in fact illegal to fire somebody in retaliation for protected concerted activity.
And yet they've done it.
Yeah, sometimes companies break the law. It actually happens pretty regularly.
News Guild President Susan de Carava called the firings one of the most extreme attempts at union busting the News Guild has seen. When the thing it's responding to, as we just saw, was tame, I would say. Why are bosses feeling so emboldened to break the law right now?
Yeah, so we have a lot of demonstrations. We organize these, we call them marches on the boss fairly regularly. It is a time where a group of coworkers gets questions together, questions that perhaps management wouldn't want to answer in other forums. In fact, with Stan this year, we tried to get him into meetings. We'd sent him questions via email. We submitted a bunch of questions ahead of an all-company meeting. They never answered any of them. And so we will often have these groups of people go down, speak to a manager who's making these sorts of decisions. We've done this so many times. Like the way that this is just a regular part of my day-to-day at my job. It's hard to say why they might be escalating now, but under the Trump administration, we've had a lame duck National Labor Relations Board. Basically, that means they don't have enough staff in order to hear all of the cases that are being pushed through. It is also just generally gutted enforcement of labor law across the board. So a lot of companies, which might have been a little more beholden to the law before, seem to be testing things that they can get away with, whether that's ignoring their union contracts or whether that's just blatantly breaking the Labor Relations Act in the first place. So we've been seeing these kinds of things across the Guild. However, this is one of, like Susan said, the more egregious versions of retaliation or expressions of retaliation that we've seen so far.
Can you live with yourself?